is Jordan Leroy Hansen, also known as LeDef, and what I'm doing here is actually going to try a nice, unique variation of the pack opening video of the new Winterviel bundle, which essentially was a $20 bundle where you get 6 packs of the past expansions of some sets, of the past 5 sets, aka 1, 2, 3, yep, aka Boomsday Project, Witchwood, Kobolds and Catacombs, Knights of the Winter Throne, and Journey to Ungol. So what I decided to do is actually open these packs, but what I'm going to do is choose a card from each of these packs, record it down here on this little notepad I have here, and actually just make a deck out of it, just to play like 1 or 2 matches on Standard, just for fun. But nevertheless, that's pretty much how we're going to go at it, so let's start with the old, with probably one of my favorite sets from... It's one of my second to favorite sets from the Year of the Mammoth, Journey to Ungol. So, let's open some packs, and try to make a deck out of it. Okay. Ooh, 2 rares out of this.
Rare!
Okay,
Rare!
so, we got Stonehill Defender, Direhorn Hatchling, Reza Petal Lasher, Winterviel Lookout, Ultrasaur. I think the card I'm going to choose out of this pack to make a deck out of it is Stonehill Defender. It's just one of the better cards that came from Journey to Ungol. You still see it played. Plus, it's a neutral, so I'm just writing it down here. Stonehill Defender. It's one of the better cards that came from that expansion and such, and you still see it played constantly in defensive style decks, or decks that do like the card draw aspect of it. So that's our first card we picked from the packs. Let's see what else we're going to put in the deck. Plus, the reason why I'm doing that is I'm trying to focus on neutrals and not class cards yet, just in case, like, if we get a really powerful class card, that we don't want to pigeonhole ourselves into a deck. So this is a 1 rare pack. Okay.
Rare!
The rare is Tovir Stone Shaper. Not bad. Hallucination's not bad. Elemental's alright. Adaptation's alright. I think the Stormwatch is going to be the pick here. It still keeps us with our keep with the neutrals so far until we get a really good class card. So Stormwatcher is kind of the pick here. It's a nice late game creature. It's a 4/8, and it's actually a really good arena card personally. Okay, on to the next pack. Okay, let's see what we got here.
Rare!
So we got Cornered Sentry, 2 mana 2 sits, Taunt Battlecry, summon free Raptors. We got Tower Lurker, we got Tallward. I think we're still going to keep with the taunts here and keep the stubborn Gastropods, so... Because none of these are really great class cards that I want to build a deck with in Limited, so... Or at least this weird Limited experiment we're doing, so... We're going to write that down. And then we're going to go on to the next pack. Okay, rare.
Rare!
Ooh, we got the Molten Blade. Each turn this is in your hand, transform it into a new weapon. We got the Ingenious Elemental, Verdant Longneck, Rockpool Hunter, or Primafill Lookout. I think we're kind of going into Elementals, so I think I'm going to do the Ingenious as our pick here for the deck, so... Molten Blade is not that great of a rare weapon. Like, you can still use it for some pretty silly deck archetypes, but I don't really want to go into Warrior yet just for this card, so... Verdant Longneck's not bad. Rockpool Hunter is great in the Merfolk decks that we've been seeing. Or, not Merfolk, blah! Yeah, I can tell I've been playing Magic recently. Murloc decks have been popular recently, and this is an alright card. Like, the fact that it does offer card draw in some decks is pretty nice, but... There are kind of like better card draw options. Like, the reason why Murloc Mage is really popular is because the card draw engine in Mage is pretty good, so... We're going to choose the Ingenious Elemental. It's just a good card. It lets us get more Elementals in our deck. And we don't have to engage Elementals. Why not? Okay, let's see what we got here. Okay, just a rare, so...
Rare!
Beating Time, great if we want to go into Warlock. It's a nice removal spell. Petal Volley is good if we want to go into Spell. Lost in the Jungle is good. I think Tar Creeper is the pick, though, because it's just, yet again, a really good elemental, and we've been just really getting to building this deck into just an elemental deck. So, Tar Creeper could be the one going into the deck. We could decide to go hard into Druid and just make like an adaptation elemental deck. Razor Petal Lasher, Razor Petal Volley. I think I'm going to take the Fire Plume Phoenix, yet again, good elemental. And the fact you can deal 2 damage is actually pretty nice, so... Fire Plume Phoenix, it's kind of a semi-removal spell, so... And we are getting a lot of elementals, such as what Journey to Ungoro did provide, so... That's kind of our journey into Ungoro. We just got a bunch of elementals and one little poisonous slug and a Stonehill Defender. So, now we're going to go into Knights of the Frozen Throne, which was one of my friend's favorite expansions. He just loved the aspect of the Death Knights and all that stuff, and it's just kind of fun to see them kind of take a very dark-ish turn on the kind of like Hearthstone aesthetic. Like, it's still lighthearted to an extent, but it was just nice to see some cards and such. Nevertheless, let's see what cards we're going to put into it. Okay, so we got just a rare. So let's see.
Rare.
Valkyrie Soul Kramer. After this minion survives damage, summon 2/2 Gur. We got Stitch Tracker. We got Frozen Clone. We got Death Speaker. Or we got Sanguine Leveler. So now, this is either we stick to an alright neutral, or we go into a class. Honestly, I think the best thing to do here is... this is a hard one, actually. We could stick to the neutrals, or... Frozen Clone, we do have some powerful elementals, so we could just say stick to the mage and just see what happens. Death Speaker is alright, though. It's an alright neutral. That's a hard pick. I think I'm still going to stick with the neutral so far. While Frozen Clone is not a bad secret, it's not the best secret in the world. And all these other class cards are really good in specific deck archetypes, so we're going to stick it like that, and let's open it.
Rare.
Now we got our rare, which is Desperate Stand. Give a minion death rattle, return this to life with 1 health. We got Animated Berserker, we got the Vrigu, Ice Fishing, or the Veteran. Honestly, this one is kind of not the best pack in the world. I think the best thing here is just the Arcturus. I always get that pronunciation wrong. The Arcturus Veteran. So we're gonna do it like that. It seems like it's just a decent 1-drop. It might work. Next time. Ooh, we get an epic for this one, so this might dictate our deck. So. Let's see what we got. We got the Spectral Pillager. Deal damage equal to the number of other cards you played this turn. We don't really want to go into Rogue for that. Avalanche is not bad if we want to go into removal, and Elemental Shaman is technically a thing that we can consider. Night Howl is not bad, it's not great, but it's not bad. Cryptic Lord is decent. Shadow Ascendant is decent if we want to go into kind of like pre-shenanigans. Do we really want to go into Shaman for a free Avalanche? Maybe? Maybe. You know, upon post-reflection, trying to make a limited deck out of 30 packs of this is tricky when some of these are class-based cards, but... Honestly, we'll go Fear into the Shaman in this case, because Night Howler, not a bad card, but not a great card, but Avalanche is just a decent card in general, so we kind of now made our choice with this. We're going into Shaman, so there we go. So now we just got to keep our eye on Shaman. If it turns out Shaman doesn't get much support, we probably just will go back to the Night Howler, so I will keep that as a mental note. But I think for now, we're going to stick to try a Shaman deck. Okay.
Rare.
Our rare is a Happy Goal. Not bad. Wicked Skeleton, not great. Night Howler. There's our Night Howler friend again. I think the pick here is the Happy Goal. We don't have much healing yet, but it's just a decent card in general, so we'll pick that. Okay, let's see what we get.
Golden Common.
Ooh, nice golden.
Rare.
So a rare is a Corpse Laser, and this is one of the rare rares. We are taking this. It's a good card. Like, it's one of those where if we get like a very high value minion that we don't mind sticking around, this card can be very useful. So Corpse Razor, you're going into deck. And the last Knights of the Frozen pack is... Ooh, our first legendary. Let's see what we get.
Rare. Oh, legendary.
We get Bolvar Fireblood. Do we really want to just be like, hey, we're not going to Shaman, we're now going into Paladin. Defiledo's good. Scalemancer's not bad. We don't really have that much Divine Shield, so I think we stick to the Scalemancer. It's just a fine card in general. But still, it's nice to pull a Bolvar, especially how flavorful he is in the Warcraft lore and all that stuff, so go research this guy. It's actually kind of interesting what he did and such, so nevertheless, we are now done with the Knights of the Frozen Throne, and now we're going to go into one of the more sillier expansions, Kobolds and Catacombs. This is the set where we're going to probably get some powerful cards for our deck, because this set had some pretty powerful cards. There were some peculiarly not great cards too, but let us go into the Catacombs and see what cards we'll add to the deck. Okay, so we get a rare.
Rare.
Wandering Monster. We're not going into Hunter, though this is a very popular card for Hunter. Fungal Enchanter. Actually, I think I'm going to go with the Fungal Enchanter since we have the Happy Goal. Sleeping Dragon is a good top-end card, but Fungal Enchanter could help us make our Happy Goal for free, so I think we're going to go with that. Fungal Enchanter, you're going into the deck. Furbolg Mossbinder. Transform a friendly minion into an elemental. Dark Pat. I'm gonna try the Furbolg Mossbinder. Who knows, maybe it'll give me more surprise than I thought. It's not a great card in general, but it's not a bad card. And we have elementals, so maybe you'll have elemental synergy, so Furbolg, you're gonna get a shot at it. Ooh,
Rare.
let's see what we get.
Epic.
We get a Void Ripper. Yeah, I mean, Silver Vanguard's decent. Diabol is a great one-drop, but I think I'm going to try Void Ripper. Void Ripper might actually be fun with some of our cards that have high toughness and such, and it might be just used as a decent removal against some archetypes. So Void Ripper, you're going into the deck. Two rare pack. Nice.
Rare.
Electro Reaver is good if we were going into Warlock. Wax Elemental is fine. Shroom Brewer might be the pick. Scorpmatic, Diamol. Jeez, we are getting a lot of Diamols. I think the pick here, though, is the Shroom Brewer. It's just a good healing tool, and like we said, we have the Happy Ghoul, so... Happy Ghoul, so I think that's the pick. Though, if we do find another Diamol, we might just pick that up and get something there. So, one rare pack, and we get Murmuring Elemental. Well, we're going into Shaman now, so I think that will certify it, because Marine Elemental is just a good card, especially since we have a lot of cards that have Battlecry-centric stuff, so I think that's the pick. So, Marine Elemental, you're going in. Diamol, as we mentioned, would have been good if there wasn't a better card. Cheat Death is interesting, because this was the expansion that decided to try Rogue Secrets out. It's overall a fine mechanic, but we just need like a couple more, because many people are kind of predictable on what the secrets are. Though this card did see a lot of play in Quest Rogue, which is something significant to mention. Always, when you can discount cards, it becomes very powerful. Doomsday Golem is alright. Not great, but alright. And Barkskin, it's actually, you see it some play in some decks, but Not a lot. Mostly I just seen this being very useful in Rumble Run and Rastakhan just to get the armor with that one shrine that regenerates your mana crystals and such when you gain armor, so it's something to consider. Anyway, last pack of the Kobolds. Let's see if we can have any nice upgrades. Ooh, legendary.
Rare.
Let's see, we get that. And legendary is...
Legendary.
Well, perfect. We're going into Shaman, so we're going to do the Rune Spear. Yep, that's the pick here. I mean, it's not the greatest of the legendary weapon cycle that did come from Kobolds and Catacombs, but for this kind of limited deck experiment that we're doing, it's going to be a fine card. It's funny. If we didn't have this, probably the next best pick would probably have been the Green Jelly, because it's just a decent taunt minion in general, so Rune Spear it is. So now we're going from the Year of the Mammoth to the year that we're currently in, the Year of the Raven, which in this case we're going to start with the Witchwood. One of the more spooky expansions that is provided with werewolves, spirits, witches, and all that. So, let's see what cards we have to get from this set, shall we? So let's look where we're at, and we get the Witchwood Grizzly. That's actually just fine. That's actually really good. Wormguard's fine if we had dragons. We don't. Lost Spirit is not a bad 2-drop. But I think we're definitely picking the Grizzly here. It's just a really good taunt minion. Plus, it can help us maybe get a lethal in with, say, the Void Whipper and such. So, Witchwood Grizzly, you're going into the deck. Ooh, an epic. We get the Mud Hunter. That's interesting. We also get a Witchwood Piper, which could be fine. Walnut Sprite's fine. Pumpkin Peasant's fine. I think to here it's a tie between the Witchwood Piper or the Muck Hunter. I think the Witchwood Piper will be probably the best pick here. Besides, we have a Witchwood Grizzly. Why not a Witchwood Piper? Plus, it just helps us with card draw, which we don't have much in this limited setup, so... Witchwood Piper, you're going into... Let's see what else we get. Well, we can't play this. We could probably play the Ghostlight Angler. It's just a decent 2-drop in general. Swift Messenger is pretty good, though. I'm going to take the Ghost Angler since we don't have that many 2-drops at the moment. So, Ghostlight Angler, you're going into the deck. Clan Fug might be decent. Witch's Apprentice is
Rare.
Zap's also good too. It's a tie here. It's either Witch's Apprentice or Zap. Zap's just a decent early game removal spell. Witch's Apprentice though can help us get into more removal. I think I'm gonna check with the Witch's Apprentice. So, Witch's Apprentice as the pick here. There we go. So we're going to be done with that. We got 2 more packs in the Witchwood. Let's see what we get. Ooh, legendary.
Rare.
Let's see what we get, shall we?
Oh, legendary.
Well, we're definitely not playing that legendary. You don't want to play that legendary. Just trust me on this one. We're not playing that. It's not the greatest card. There's also Mad Hatter, which might just be good. Swift Messenger is good too. Ghostlight Angler is also good too. It's a tie between either this or this. I've tried Mad Hatter since I haven't really played with it that much, so... Like, it would probably be better if we got another 2-drop for our deck and just pick out one of the Ghostlights, but I think Mad Hatter would be a fine experiment. Ooh, we get an epic.
Rare.
And we get a golden rare. Green Blast. Great, but we're not playing a hunter, so
Epic.
doesn't count. Well, this is a first. We technically can't play any of these cards in our deck since we're going Shaman. How do we approach this? I think I'm going to approach this like saying that the last pack we picked, we had another Ghoulite Angler. I think I'm going to do it like that. We'll say that this pack was kind of a, oops, can't play anything pack from it, but to keep in the spirit of this, we'll just say there was like one Ghoulite Angler in this pack and just pick that. Okay, so there are packs that are all class packs, so we gotta accommodate for that. We'll just try to remember what we open and just open and make a deck based on that. So anyway, the last cards that we're going to open are from the Boomsday Project, one of the more scientifically interesting expansions. There was actually some pretty good cards from this, so it'll be fun to see what we can add to a custom deck. So let's try it.
Rare.
Two rares.
Rare.
We'll make it simply... Oh boy, now we're getting into one of those rare... That's kind of a dead pack for us since we're playing Shaman. If we see a Shaman card that's in these packs, we'll probably pick that, but at the moment, if we were able to pick something, I would say the Atoning Robe would be the pick. Ooh, epic.
Rare. Epic.
Okay, the pick here, since it's the only pick we got, is the Whirly Glider, so... There we go. So, it's an alright card. It's a 2-drop, which we do need 2 drops, so that will go in.
Rare.
Do we want a Spark Drill, or do we want a Coppertail Imposter? I think since we're lacking so many late game drops, I think the Spark Tail is the perfect pick here, so we're going to pick up the Spark Drill. So, there we go.
Rare. Golden Common.
Cloaked Scale Chemist as our goal. We do get a Spring Rocket, which I think that's the pick. The Golden Cloak Scale is nice, though it doesn't see much play. So we're going to play with the Spring Rocket as our pick here. Here we go.
Rare.
Yeah, we got to. This was originally one of the more overpowered cards when it was at 5 mana. Now it is nerfed at 7 mana, but it's still a fine card, so Gigalina Vinter, you're going into the deck. And the last pack before we start with the deck construction is an epic deck, an epic pack. So
Rare. Epic.
Academic Espionage. Nah. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to pick up the Brainstormer. So there we go. Kind of anticlimactic last pack, but the Brainstorm is just kind of decent. I mean, it's a free drop. It's something we can do. So now, as I said, I was recording all the cards that we picked for the deck. So what we're going to do now is go into deck construction. Say, create a new deck. It's going to be a Shaman deck. And then for the sake of easy picks, we'll just say new cards, since we know some of them are new, such as the Marine Elemental, the Rune Sphere. And we're not picking up that, so we're just going to look at the cards that were from our quote-unquote picks and just make a deck out of it. So I'm going to have to take a look at this list here. So we know we picked up 2 Ghoulite Anglers, so... We picked up 1 Witch's Apprentice. Oh, there's the Ghoulite. We picked up 2 Ghoulite Anglers. Nothing from here. Nothing from here. Nothing from here. We did pick up an Avalanche, actually, so... Where did that... There we go. I knew we were forgetting something. pick up anything from here. Didn't pick up anything from here. We did pick up the Rune Spirit, which we put into the deck. And now time for the neutral options, which I think I'm just going to do this the easy way and just type these out. So, one Mad Hatter. One Shroom Brulin. Void Ripper. Skelemancer. Quartz Razor. Spark Drill. The Whirling Glider. Happy Goal. There we go. Veteran. Stone. There we go. Storm. There we go. Stone Watcher. Well, this one, Ingenious Elemental. Tar. Reaper. There we go. Fire. There we go. There we go. Just a couple of stuff from the Witchwood. Brainstormer. Spreen. Rocket. Piglin Inventor. Did I already put in the Void Ripper? Yep. Yep, we already put in the Ghostlight Angler. Oh, Gastropod, that's what we're missing. Gastro... Did we put in the Skelemancer? Yeah, so... I think I'm missing 2 cards from this, so I'm going to try to look at 2 cards that we did open that I know that we could put into the deck that came from the Shaman, so... I mean, one card I know we did open was... this, so we could just throw this in, since this is just now to throw in a card just to do it. And I know we did open a Night Howler, so we could probably do that. So, Night Howler. There we go. And this is our Winterviel pack opening deck. So, yeah, it's a really peculiar deck. The curve's actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be, but... So, yeah. So now to end this peculiar special... Well, first... Yes! Next, though, we're gonna play a few matches with this very special Winterviel bundle deck and just see what happens. Shall we? Let us play 1 to 2 matches and see the shenanigans that are abound. If we can get a win with this deck, I'll laugh, but so far this is just for the holiday spirit, just for shenanigans. Just to let you guys know, there is probably one more video I'm going to do with this, showing off a Santa Shoulda Walk deck that I decided to brew. That one is a lot silly, and I thought it would be fun to show off that. But for now, we're doing this pack opening video and just enjoying the holiday shenanigans.
Thrall versus Jaina.
You asked for it.
For Doomhammer!
So, we're gonna toss this. And it's a fine hand, so we'll keep. Our opponent is playing something, so... Ooh, and this is the Journey to Encore reward. I seem to not know how to do that before. Anyway, we're gonna play the Aero Elemental. Okay.
That didn't go as...
And we get a spell, which is Shock. So we can actually turn free, make this into a free-free, which is fine, actually, so... Okay, we'll do it like that. That is the game plan. Okay, perfect. Let's make this into a
My
free-free.
brilliance knows no bounds!
Okay. Teach our elementals. This is gonna be tricky. Well, the play here is a Stone
Out
Hill,
of my jungle!
and we'll get probably a Voodoo Head, so just our turn 5 drop. Well, we're gonna overload ourselves, but we do have the coin, so we gotta keep that in mind. We're gonna do it like that. Okay, pass your turn. We're gonna play some cards. I think that's the best play here at the moment. It helps us to fish out a board wipe if he has a board wipe, but we can use the Murlocs to just go into trade into the Tar Elemental here.
The end is coming!
Interesting. So, if we were lucky lucky. That's 4. Let's say that's 5. Nah, that won't be enough. I think we just hit the base. Play until we pass the turn. Then we'll play just a giggling adventure that actually is the play here. Our opponent decides to beat us, and nothing. Okay, we'll play our big dude.
Lightning strikes twice.
This will probably fish out a polymorph if our opponent has it, since it seems like they're playing more a control mage type of deck, from what it seems. Yep, there's the polymorph. Okay. Then in that case, a lot of Murlocs. So many Murlocs. What is your play after all the Murlocs, opponent?
You will burn.
Yep. That is the good play for that one, opponent.
The cold don't bother me, man.
Great. Opponent is just going to get the life gain. That's perfect.
Hear those who wield it.
This is perfect for us because he's going to attack into that. Please. Honestly, that's perfect because we can use Avalanche to destroy the Barriganon. So that actually works on our end. So. And honestly. There we go.
You get a hat, and you get a hat.
We all get hats. And a little healing. And we're gonna build a whiteboard. Maybe we can draw a Rune Spear and just have some shenanigans, but we are in a pickle. Yeah.
Welcome to the show.
Ugly.
My root and vine, your soul entwine.
Our opponent's probably wondering what the heck this deck is. Our opponent's... Well, that's the first game. suspect that the deck will probably lose some, but mostly this is just for fun shenanigans, so... Yeah, we could probably play one more match and see if we can get a better matchup.
Thrall versus Uther.
I will fight with honor for Doomhammer.
We can keep the focus enter. No. Oh yeah, we can keep this hand. We got a 2-drop, we got a 3-drop, we got a 4-drop. Let's see what we're playing against. Okay, not odd Paladin, so that's good.
Converting stored energy.
Interesting.
The victory is yours.
That one really didn't count since I think the opponent just misplayed there, so... Hey, at least we can say by weird legality we got one victory with the deck, so... At least enough time to play one more match at the very least.
Thrall versus Magni.
For Cosmodon! For Doomhammer.
Okay. We'll take this out. Yeah, that's alright. So, we're gonna play out a 1-drop
Speak your peace.
and see what our opponent's playing. It's not Odd Warrior. Is it Quest? Rush? Control? We shall find out. So, looks like Rush Warrior. So we're probably not going to see a Rush minion, so you can attack in and buff up the Rush minion. Is probably going to be the case. No, it's shield. Okay.
It's playtime.
Okay, we'll play our Happy Go Out. Still on the defensive. Interesting. Well, I think the play here is give our people hats.
You get a hat, and you get a hat.
So there we go.
Again!
Job's done.
Oh boy, here's the rushing now. Probably a Raging Oregon? No, a Silence. Okay. Five cards, so this would be a free 7. I think that's fine.
Again!
There we go. Now let's see what 5-cost Rush Minion, or whatever Rush Minion he wanted invulnerable.
We hear your heart.
Okay. Interesting pick. Oh, that's actually good. Okay, that will be a problem. Okay. That's scary enough that I think we need to initiate the trade. We'll do this
Out
first.
of my jungle!
Yeah, we'll pick an Alec here. And honestly,
Reality breaks.
we destroyed the spirit. And we were
Job done.
There we go. So now we've destroyed the spirit of the
Happy
rhino.
Feast of Winterviel!
Happy Feast of Winterviel.
Okay.
Look out below! My brilliance knows no bounds!
There we go. And we can top it off with an Alec here. Let's see what the opponent's got to play. Oh, in fact, if the opponent played it like that. Or an execute. Okay. Interesting. Opponent. Interesting choice. Well, we're gonna do this. And we won with an egg. But yeah, as suspected, we weren't able to play with the Rune Spirit just yet, but, well, that was the holiday shenanigans of opening up the, let's see, the Winterviel. The Winterviel Wonder Bundle, and making kind of a funny deck out of it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you all have a happy holiday season, and hopefully it should be a good week for y'all. This is WebDev, signing out.